Yeah, we spent time in Perth, Sydney, and Arizona. So, and when you've got a 21-month-old, that becomes really exhausting. So we decided to just ground and get some roots. So we've been here for about 2 months.
Epic. So whereabouts have you settled in London?
We're in North London. So we're out of like central. We're not in like the chaotic, crazy London. Because I think that could get exhausting too. It's such an incredible city, but we're just a little like 30 minutes outside the city north, and kind of like in a little villagey area with big park next to us. So it's a good spot.
Sounds very family orientated, my man.
It is family and dogs. We got both. So it's good for both.
Now, I've got you going live here, my friend, and we have got about 30 people joining us at the moment, and there's a couple of people that will be joining us live on Facebook as well. So, man, first of all, I'd like to say welcome to you, Erik, and also welcome to everyone that's joining us. And they're going to be joining us in the chat box as well. So if there's any questions that pop up, Erik, do you mind if I fire them away and ask you along?
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
All right, so let's kick into it. I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but the first thing I wanted to start with is thank you. For most people, they know that I actually partnered with Erik and his parents, Jim and Kathy Coover, and John Anderson about 5 or 6 years ago, and we'll talk about the vision of Start Your Life in a minute, but it's very much to free ourselves physically and financially so that we can contribute more and do more and self-fund our own projects, and we can be our most authentic self and really have an impact in this world. And the thank you is because, I get to live my ideal day in Bali. Obviously, living expenses here aren't massive, but through the partnership with you guys, I've been able to free my time, my location to then self-fund, something really big for me, which is going to be a self-care movement and things like that. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do, man, and for enabling that for me and for, I think, nearly 66,000 other people in the Start Your Life community now.
Well, that's great, man. Well, it's such an honor to get to do what we get to do every single day, and like just hearing you say that is like fuel for me. I mean, that is like hearing people, moving closer to living their ideal day or ideal life, or to actually living it, is something that just like inspires me so much, and it's so fulfilling. And so that's look. There's moments when you're traveling around and you're doing all this stuff and you get tired, but like, the stories that you hear and the people, the impact that's being made, and like, hearing that you're doing your own personal project that you're self-funding through Isogenics is just like, that's what it's about. That's why we do what we do. That's
it, man. And, and I know I've shared this with you in person, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people on this line who are watching are feeling the exact same way. So, and I think you touched on probably the most important thing, like what fuels you. And I was gonna start this story off tonight, and I was like, why are you really here? Like, why do you get out of bed every morning to really drive this Start Your Life movement? I think let's start with that.
Yeah, well, I think look, at the end of the day, I think that there's no greater feeling. I mean, there's two things that like keep me just motivated, inspired, and fulfilled. And I think it's growth and contribution. And I like, in terms of like a Start Your Life community where we've got, tens of thousands of young people from all over the world. And not just young people, but people who like, when you start hanging out with them, it's like, these people I actually want to hang out with. It's like, these are the types of people that I really want to be around. And they just make you want to be better, and they make you want to contribute more. I mean, we just had literally the most epic Start Your Life leadership retreat in Machu Picchu in Peru with almost 100 people, and just the relationships and the connections that were made, and getting to know everybody was just so remarkable. And again, so getting surrounded by those people just enables you to always be growing. I mean, if you're infused in that culture, you got no choice but to grow, and that feels good. And then the second thing is contribution. Look, I mean, we all want to be living our ideal days and our ideal lives, but very rarely do you ever come across somebody, at least for me, if if my ideal day, or, my ideal day for me, it of course is being able to, live where I want and do the stuff I want and all that stuff. But if I was just like sitting on the beach and, having cocktails with my feet in the sand, like all day long, every single day,
yeah,
that would get extremely boring.
Yeah.
and it would get very old because I'm not, contributing to anything except my own personal, tan.
Yeah.
And so, look, it's people strive for that life, and it's great. It's great to be able to, live where you want and work where you want and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing something that is literally making an impact in somebody else's life, then what you're doing is probably going to leave you feeling unfulfilled, bored, unsatisfied. And so, as long as I'm always doing something where I'm engaged in a community that's allowing me to grow, and it's also allowing me to contribute on a really, really high scale, that is when I'm ultimately most fulfilled. And I can't think of a better vehicle than this Start Your Life community that we've kind of built over the last 6 or 7 years.
Man, it's powerful, and that's I think there's a lot of people that are sharing the same sentiment because I guess the big thing for millennials is we're all looking for a way. Like, I guess off the background of our parents, we've been given these opportunities to maybe do things a little bit differently. So that's one thing we've got to be truly grateful for in its own sense. But also to have technology and as an example, you and I are touching base pretty much halfway across the world, and we've got people tuning in from literally all around the world to join this conversation to hopefully get inspired or sparked, or maybe be presented with an opportunity where they can figure out whether their vision, their values aligns with yours and ours and the contribution that we want to have in the world. So what would you say would be like the overarching vision, like Isagenix as an enterprise, as a conscious enterprise, as a tool? Like, how would you describe it? Like, you obviously, your parents helped found and start this with John Anderson and the whole scientific team, but I just want to get the essence from you. Like, how would you describe Isagenix to, say, someone who hasn't really heard of it or hasn't heard of it in a way that it should truly be represented?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that one of the best ways I could describe Isagenix is kind of like, when you think of a company, it's the way things really should be done. And the deeper that you kind of look into Isagenix, whether it be the products that we have, whether it be our compensation plan, whether it be our culture, whether it just be the management team of the company or the leadership, like the deeper you look, the better it gets. And that's, that's pretty rare in this day and age. And so, but I think that everything that we've, as a company, have built on, it's been with the sole intention to give back. And so, like, my parents 17 years ago with John Anderson, they partnered, and they didn't start this company with an exit strategy. They didn't start this company to be like, okay, hey, we're going to start this company, we're going to launch these products, and we're going to make a bunch of money, and then we're going to exit and sell the company in 5 years. They didn't start that way. The company was started because John Anderson was sick and tired of other companies compromising the integrity of nutritional products that he was formulating. And so he wanted to really give back to the planet his gifts of product formulation, kind of with no restrictions, and, really tap into his genius without people saying, oh, well, this is too expensive, we got to put something artificial in here, some filler in here to make this cheaper. So that was his vision. And then my parents' vision was, to partner with a guy like John, but to also do network marketing, which, let's face it, sometimes can get a bad rap because, look, there's a lot of network marketing companies out there that are doing this right, and they're giving the profession a great name, but also there's some out there that aren't giving it a good name, and as a result, they actually poison a lot of the industry. And my parents, before Isagenix, were kind of a part of that. They were a part of a few of those companies. They were distributors in the company, or my dad did some consulting. And so they were just kind of frustrated with the profession in general. And they felt like, look, if we can partner with a guy like John, if we can build a company and run it the way we know how to run it with integrity and do things the right way, that's all about the people. We really think we can do this. And so I think at the end of the day, Isogenics is about allowing people to just feel like so well in their body, because if we don't have health, we don't have anything. It's very hard to live your ideal day if your health is not in order. It's very
100%.
hard to enjoy money and contributing if your own personal health is not in order. And so Isogenics can be for so many different people. It can literally be for somebody who has never had a lot of education around nutrition. They don't know what the heck to do, and they're unhealthy, and they just need some structure. Like, Isogenics is phenomenal for those types of people. Like, for somebody that wants to lose weight, or somebody that wants to just get their health in order because it's been, a disarray for so long. It's absolutely for them. But it's also for people who are like the naturopaths, and they're maybe they're really into wellness, but they just need like a solid foundation for them that's really going to fill in some of the nutritional gaps. Because look, there's great organic food out there that I love eating, but one, it's very expensive, and a lot of times it's a pain in the ass to have to go out and grocery shop and get all the stuff. You still should do that, but also Isogenics can really fill in the nutritional gaps for you. A lot of naturopaths look at our labels and they're like, they look at Ionic Supreme and they're like, I have been trying to find this my whole life, and I can't believe it's all in this one bottle. So it really kind of covers the whole range. So it's for those people with health. And then as far as, the financial opportunity, look, it's for people who, just want to change something in their life over the next 90 days. That it could be to pay off a nagging bill that's driving them nuts every single month, or make an extra few $100s a month, or it could be for somebody who really wants to build a legacy income around their family that nobody's going to be able to tear down. Obviously, what you put into it's what you're going to get out of it. And the more passionately you share, and the more consistent you are, the greater results you're going to get. But I think that the products are there, the compensation's there, and then of course the culture, I think, is probably the greatest product that we have.
Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head, Eric. And I just want to chime in there, because it's you've just covered like 3 or 4 really key things. And I know people out there have seen like documentaries like Heal and, all these things that are out there in the world, which are talking about like food as foundational medicine. They're talking about getting away from toxicity. They're talking about like intermittent fasting. They're talking about social connectivity and tribes as a key to longevity. They're talking about like all these shared and circular economies. And like, if people really see this for what it is, Eric, it's kind of like all of that in one. And then you're aligned with good health and well-being and like impacting world health. And that's like, I think that's set to be like a $47 trillion problem by like 2030, right? And it's like 1 in 2 people are living with chronic preventable disease. And it's like food, nutrition, and whole foods and an active lifestyle seems to be the missing piece of the puzzle. But for whatever reason, people can't get it into their lifestyles. And one thing I think I shared on a post today was like, the reason I'm here with you today is because I'm one of those allied health professionals, and I had the master's degree, I had the student loans, but I saw better results in 6 months watching your now wife, Peter, than I did whilst I was in the clinic working with elite athletes. And that's the thing that really made me take notice, was like the rituals, the principles, like all that stuff. It just caught my interest. And someone's just written here, Eric, I was sitting on the fence until this moment. The way that you just explained why this company was started just hit me in the soul. And that's the reason why I said, like, I'm in you. So like in this moment, you've just impacted one life just by sharing your heart and soul. So I just want to really appreciate you for that, man. But yeah, like what you just said, like, I've never seen an enterprise that hits on all these elements for longevity. So what are your thoughts on that? And what do you see being the vision, like going forwards from here?
Yeah, well, I think, again, my parents, they started the company so that people could really, with the intention that people could really have a home for life. They didn't have to worry about if the company was going to be here in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We're going to be here. And so my I feel like my greatest responsibility for the future is to really just be, I kind of mentioned it. I think our greatest product is our culture. Most people get into Isogenics for the product, and then they get great results, and then they just start organically doing the business because they feel so good, and people start asking them what they're doing. And then all of a sudden they're like, I can't believe these people that I'm meeting, like just the quality of people and the relationships and this culture. I mean, we take like this culture takes people who are potentially in some of the darkest times of their life and turns them into like just people who are making such a remarkable difference in the world. I mean, I think about my brother-in-law, Ben Kelly, who was a bricklayer, a miserable bricklayer for a lot of years. And I mean, he was just like he had all these thoughts going through his head, and he got into Isogenics, got great results in the product, started doing the business, and now he's like, speaking on stage in front of thousands of people, contributing to the world like in such huge ways. And I look at somebody like yourself. There's just so many people, but I think that my vision for the future is always to just be really a custodian of this Isogenics culture, because I think it's one of the greatest things that we have. And as long as our culture is in the right integrity, and we're doing things the right way with the right intentions, with how the company was started, with, again, the sole intention to give back, and we focus on not about being big, but about being great, I think that is when, the most that's when everything will take care of itself as far as product innovation and, compensation plan, all that stuff. It all needs to rest on, just a rich culture. And I think that's my greatest responsibility for the future. So I think, but in the future though, over the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see us really stepping into, owning a big part of the world of wellness. Because there's a lot of people that are looking for the full package like what we have. And, people that are every single day that are praying for an answer, and people are going to hear about Isogenics. They're going to hear about it from, your friends, your family, people listening on this call. But the question is, are they going to hear it from you, or are they going to hear it from somebody else? Because they're going to hear it regardless.
Yeah.
So it might as well be from the people on this call.
And what do you think would be the best way to introduce it? Because you touched on something really important before, and there's so many marketing strategies and things in the world, but network marketing, networked enterprises is essentially something that anybody can do. And like you said, the deeper you go into this, the better and better it gets. But most people's first exposure to this might be through someone who gets a little bit too excited, or it might be through someone who is like just a little bit too pushy, or they're a little bit scared, or a little bit fearful. So what would you say is like the best way to share something like this? Is it just the authenticity and the integrity of your own story? Is it the willingness to listen and just connect them with someone else? How would you recommend that people go about doing that?
I think that first it's about just really becoming so interested in people, and just like having the intention every single day that like, look, I'm just going to go, be a human being and just go like connect with people. Like I'm like this thought. Sometimes people, when they first get involved in Isogenics and they're like so excited, this thought goes through their it's like always in their mind. It's like Isogenics is stamped across their forehead, and when they're going out, all they can think about is, oh my God, when am I going to bring up Isogenics? And let me tell you, that is really, really weird. And people are going to totally pick up on that. And they're probably going to repel from you if you are showing up like that, because that's just, people can just smell it all over you if you're like that. But if
the intention is good though.
The intention usually is good, because you're excited. You got something that can help a bunch of people, but like just that whole thing of, okay, when am I going to talk to people about Isogenics? It can come across a little weird. So instead, I think, just really setting the intention that, look, I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to, as human beings, we're natural connectors. I'm going to go, just spark up some conversations. I'm going to go compliment somebody on, on something today that maybe I wouldn't normally do, and just get in the habit of connecting with people and forming relationships. And I think what you'll find is that once you start getting into conversations with people, and once you really get in the habit of doing that, you're also going to find that actually becomes a lot easier to do. Because a lot of people, it's very hard for people to, I know for me, I began my isogenics journey, and still to this day, I'm a big introvert. Like it's not natural for me to get up in front of people and speak, or, spark up conversations. It's something that I've really, really had to work on, and I still have to work on. But I think that once, you start working the muscle, it's like going to the gym. It does become more natural, becomes easier. And then of course you become interested in people, and you start asking them, what they do. You start complimenting people. You just start getting in connection with people. The law of reciprocity is going to kick into effect, and they're going to start asking you, about you, and they're going to start complimenting you, and they're going to start asking what you do. And that's where I think you just come from a place of total, as you said, Rory, authenticity, and say, look, my day-to-day job is X. I'm doing this, but what I'm really passionate about right now is I've come across this vehicle that's like just showing so many people all around the world to just live like fulfilled, passionate lives, through their health, their finances, whatever you want to say, and whatever is natural for you. There's no, you have to, like, I could give you a script and give it to you, and it could feel so foreign to you because it's not you. It needs to come from you. And the more that you do it, the more it's going to become part of you, and it's going to feel better. So I think that, and honestly, if you're nervous about talking to people, let's say that, let's say this isn't a new person that you're talking to, and it's just somebody that it's a friend, or, somebody you work with.
Someone who's been invited on tonight.
Yeah, somebody who's been invited on tonight. Yeah, you could just say to these people, like, look, I've come across something that's like really exciting, but I have to be really honest. I've been very nervous about talking to you about it, because I've got this like stuff going on in my head that I'm trying to really work through. And I just didn't want to let this like internal negative self-talk get in the way of sharing this message with you. Because I think it's really important. And so, and honestly, if somebody said that to me, I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're nervous to talk to me. Like, yeah, tell me what it is. Like, I'm really curious. As soon as you open up and say, and just, acknowledge your vulnerability, and that you're a human being, and that you just need some help, people are going to just go walk through mountains to help you. And so I think that is, I know, one of the greatest things that helped me. And then you'll get to a point where you may not need to do that anymore, because you may not feel like the internal negative self-talk, and the, oh my God, what are people going to think of me, or whatever. But if that's going through your head right now, tell people, because it's just going to bring them closer to you, not further away from you.
Yeah, I feel that, man. It's really, really powerful. And for anyone that has been invited onto this, I think just really applaud the person that, had that conversation with you, because even, I think it was like 6 years ago when Peter first came across like my radar, I was sitting in a clinic in East Fremantle. I remember this clear as day, and I was burnt out. I hadn't been on a surf trip in like 4 or 5 years. I had this ideal day of like living in Bali and pretty much doing what I'm doing now and contributing and serving in this sense. But I just didn't have a way, or I just lost all hope that I'd be able to get there, right? And then all of a sudden, Peter pops up with like a post. This is, I think, when Facebook was first like getting out there, and she was like in Bali on like a Wednesday, and I was like, I have no idea what this lady's doing. Like, I honestly couldn't even remember what Peter looked like, because we used to go to uni together and we did a bit of personal training, but alternate shifts. And I was like, I've just got to message her. And sure enough, we had a conversation, and she was just really interested in me. And then 9 months later, like I eventually stuck around and saw the essence of what it was, and then got started. And then still here 6 years later. And I think, that doesn't need to be the process for everyone, but the only thing I can really notice that Peter did was, she was just like, her heart and soul was in helping me solve a problem that she knew I could solve. because I was burnt out. I had digestive issues. And she's like, man, you've got to check this out. Like intermittent fasting, like smoothie bowls, like plants, Ayurveda, like all this stuff that John Anderson's put together. And she was trying to like teach me about all that stuff, giving me discs of like all these self-development things. I had CD-ROMs at that time. And Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret. And even as clunky as it was, it still worked, right? Because her intention the entire time was to serve and help me. So I don't know for anyone listening if that helps, but I was probably I think she followed up with me about 30, maybe 100 times, to the point where she was like, all right, enough's enough. Like I always gave up on me. So I'm really glad that she didn't. And give my love to Peter as well, Erik, because
I definitely will. And what you just said, there's so much in there that people can take. I mean, I think, look, PETA is one of the greatest gifts that's ever come into Isogenics. And you said that she had a conversation with you, and it took 9 months until you were ready. So just like for anybody listening that's had conversations with people, and maybe these people aren't saying yes, or they're not ready yet, that is so normal. Like you're not going to come across a lot of people who you first bring up Isogenics, you talk to them about it, they're going to be like, yes, like I'm ready to go on, sign me up. How do I start? It's a process, and everybody kind of has to go through their own journey. But what we're just always doing is we're kind of just sharing the message. We're, following up with people, because you never know when people are going to be ready. And people may be going through a time in their life right now where the last thing that they want to hear about is Isogenics. They may be going through like a really tough time, or we have no idea what's going on in people's lives. And so, but what you just said PETA did was just said, look, it wasn't about her. It was about just, becoming interested in you. It wasn't about meeting up for coffee so that she could just vomit all over you about Isogenics. It was like she wanted to know about what you were doing, And so that's just part of being a human being, and just being, having your intentions in the right order. Hey, Rory, you went muted for a sec. I can't hear you, but maybe other people.
Now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
okay,
good.
Cool. I was just going to say thanks so much for your time tonight, Erica. It's the reason why I wanted to get you on was, and we've had some amazing people like Sarah Richer from the nutrition side of things. We've had Kylie Donaldson, is one of the top income earners in Australia. The point of these is to really capture the essence of what this is, and essentially the product side of things is integrating like rituals like intermittent fasting and nutritionally supported fasting with cleansing, and some really high quality smoothie bowls, no compromise products, making sure that people are still going to their farmers markets and keeping an active lifestyle, and just basically helping them get those rituals into their life with ease and flow, right? So they can sort of move up the health spectrum. And then on the business side of it is like, share it, like get the results and do what you do naturally. Health professionals like me are watching, and we're going, how the hell are you guys doing what you're doing? But most people are too scared to share it for the fear of whatever the stigma is around it. But like we've been sharing, if we just do it with the utmost authenticity and integrity, then that becomes the shared economy. The circular economy is the way forward. I think this is where the world is going. We're seeing it. Like I'm here in Bali, and every single person is doing something like this on the side of what they're doing, whether it's drop shipping or Amazon, or whether they got some oils, or they're trying to sell water systems, or whatever it is. But it's like, if you align with the values and vision of what we've just talked about, and the community and the tribe that, Erik, you're going to be a stand for over the next 10, 20, 30 plus years, then what would be the easiest way for people to get started and to hang out with us for a bit longer?
Yeah, well, I think it's, whoever invited you on this call, obviously, for me, like my parents got me started in Isogenics, and I am so freaking thankful that they had, the vision, and, I was rebellious for a long time, and they kind of stuck with me, and I'm so grateful for them, just as you're grateful for PETA, and so many people are grateful to the person that invited them into this community and this, this vehicle that we have here. So first off, just get with the person who invited you on the call, thank them, and just, they can show you exactly how to get started. And, you guys are in the best hands with Rory in this group right here. I would say just get plugged into the community right away, because the community is what's going to, I feel like, is the greatest part of the journey. It makes all of your product results even better, being able to share it with the community. It makes you start earning an income, makes that even better, being able to share it with the community. So, get back with the person who invited you. They can show you how to get started, and just plug in to the community. And I think you're really going to enjoy the people that you get to hang out with.
That's it, man. And I guess one of the coolest thing I saw is when I think there was at Celebration, there was a room of like 5,000 plus people, and I think it was either you or someone else said, like, who started, for the health and the products, and like 95% of the room put their hands up. So like, even if you just get started for your own health goals, do what you do naturally. If you want to share it, or people get attracted to you, just connecting with a person to help get you started. And then you can just really kick into this circular and shared economy, get your results, start to impact your own front doorstep, maybe your friends and your family. And the cool thing is, like, if all of us just did that, like I just literally, like, I imagine a world where everyone was intermittent fasting, everyone was integrating some type of plant-based, like high vibration plants into their daily rituals. They had tribes and communities like this. Self-development is like a big part of this, which we haven't even talked about tonight. Even if you just came in for the health and the self-development without even sharing with anyone, that'd kind of be enough, right? But then there's this big abundance of I guess, money that is available for people to help you guys have a bigger impact. And what is, just to finish off, like, because people don't understand this. I work with a lot of businesses, and not a lot of people would be giving a percentage of their profits back to their people, right? So what, like, percentages of, like, the profits do you guys as a conscious enterprise give back to your associates and the people to help grow the business?
Yeah, we give, I mean, and the way you just described it really is like profit sharing in its finest form. Instead of Isogenics going out and paying, billboards, or, having a big advertising budget, we take all that money and pay it all to our associates who are out, championing the vision, the message. And, we pay out about 50% of everything that comes in goes back into the field. So, it's the way of the future. I mean, this business model is like you said it, people are looking for additional ways to earn income. I mean, and Uber drivers, Amazon, like you said, I mean, it's, and when this profession's done the right way with integrity, it's tough to beat.
Man, dude, like, please, like, if you're really listening to this, like, you've got $1 billion company that gives away 50% of its, like, total profits back to its people. Like, imagine setting up a business, Erik, like, which your parents did from, like, day one. Like, I imagine it now, me creating my own startup, and I'm setting up from day one, where 50% of the money that I bring in, I'm going to give back to the people that help me grow it. You'd have to be so freaking like, conscious of your vision. You'd have to back your products, your people in so much, back in the fact that the word of mouth is even going to work, because word of mouth doesn't work if the product and the community and the tribe doesn't work, right? And you guys have been around for 16 plus years. You've launched into 16 out of 88 countries. You're just going into the UK. And that pool is going to go from $1 billion to $2 billion to $3 billion, but it remains at 50%. So it just means there's more abundance to share with people that are helping you guys have a bigger impact.
That's it. That's right, man. That's the best way to do it.
All right, my man. Big love to you. And hopefully for anyone listening, there's some gems in there, and hopefully we've inspired you to at least hang out with us for a bit longer, or even just get health rituals into your life, or even just integrate this community into your life. Because I know from my space, I can only speak for myself, Erik, but I've met some of the most amazing people in the last 5 or 6 years in this space, and everyone seems to be giving and conscious and, like, almost transcending self, but also abundantly minded, in the sense that, they'll do stuff like this. Like, you're giving up your time at 10 a.m. in the UK when you could be hanging out with Sol and Peter. So, big love to you. Big love to the community, man. And big love to everyone else that joined us. If you have any questions, fire away on Facebook. And would it be cool if there are any questions, Erik, I'll tag you in, and you can answer, or I can answer, and we can keep this little ripple effect going.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, just tag me in the post.
All right.
Yeah,
Too
cool.
easy. Thanks, guys. Big love.
All
and
right.
Thanks again, Erik. You're a good man.
See ya. Thanks, Rory. All right, man.